Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi out here, and it's Saturday, so we're doing a Saturday Share the Love Club, and we're going all the way back to the very, very beginning to share the love for the man who brought the Raptors to Toronto. That's right, John Bitove Jr. John Bitove Jr. is the son of John Bitove Sr., who was a Macedonian immigrant who immigrated to this country in the early 20th century. And John was a young man who grew up in Toronto working with his dad and his company, which was a catering company. They were involved in providing food for places like the Sky Dome and Pearson Airport and stuff like that. Very, very successful. Well, John went to university at Indiana University, and he learned about a business. That's what he studied there. While also at Indiana, he became a big time Hoosiers fan of the team. And that's part of the reason why we had so many Indiana guys working in our team at the very beginning, like Isaiah Thomas, maybe the greatest Indiana Hoosier player ever for that university. Glenn Grunwald, also Indiana alumni, and Butch Carter, one of our coaches in the early times. So, he had a strong connection to Indiana. Let me read an excerpt from the great book by Alex Wong, Prehistoric, that I think it does justice to what I want to say real quick about John Bitove. So let me just real quick, I'll get my reading glasses out because it's like that now for old Lex. And I'll do some reading on just a little bit of a part of it here. The first owner of the Raptors was John Bitove Jr., who grew up in the North York neighborhood of Toronto and attended York Mills Collegiate. He was the high school quarterback. He ran track and field and played soccer and rugby. But Bitove was most drawn to one sport. The one thing about basketball compared to other sports is there's a culture behind the sport, he says. There's a lifestyle to it, especially in Indiana, where it's just another way you lived. My mother, Dotsa, was from northern Indiana. I would play hoops there in the summer with my cousins. Bitove went to Indiana University and was a regular at Assembly Hall, rooting on the men's basketball team who would win the national championship in 1981, Isaiah. Even as a teenager, he would tell family and friends about his goal of bringing an NBA team to Toronto one day. He had visited Madison Square Garden in New York to watch the Knicks play in the world's most famous arena and drove to watch Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons at the Palace at Auburn Hills. I wanted basketball to become bigger in our country, Bitove said. I didn't understand why it wasn't. After graduating from Indiana and earning a law degree at the University of Windsor, John landed a junior level position at the Government of Canada in Ottawa. In 1987, he moved back to Toronto to help with his dad's business. John Sr. ran the Bitove Corporation, a food and catering business that worked with the most prominent vendors in the city, including Pearson International Airport and the Sky Dome, where the Blue Jays played. And they also own two well-known restaurants in the city, the Hard Rock Cafe and Wayne Gretzky's restaurant. As the NBA started considering the idea of an expansion team in Toronto, Bitove was working to bring an international basketball tournament to the city. The 1994 FIBA World Championship, the first tournament from the international governing body of basketball to allow NBA players to participate, had initially been awarded to Belgrade, Yugoslavia. But after a civil war broke out in Yugoslavia in 1991, FIBA needed to find a new host country. The NBA was also pushing for the event to move forward, as it was another prime opportunity for the league to spotlight their star players on the global stage. So Bitove stepped up and helped the NBA and FIBA by helping to land at the last minute the FIBA World Championships in Toronto in 1994. Now that event was such a huge event. It was so important to international basketball, to the growth of international basketball. Not only was it the first time that the NBA players played in the FIBA championship, but also that was a big, huge turning point for the Raptors coming here. Without the 94 FIBA World Championships at the Sky Dome with Shaq and Team USA, I don't think we'd have the Raptors. And the fact that John Bitove successfully brought in and set up the FIBA World Championships in 94, it got some trust with him and David Stern in the NBA. They saw how he did it and they threw it together. And he was like, you know what? We would like to come to Toronto because it was very successful. Lots of people went to the FIBA World Championships in 94 at the Sky Dome and around the Toronto area. So they knew the market was right for this. I knew the market was right for this. Now let me read just a little bit more because there's a quote in here that I really think you guys need to hear. That's amazing. You know, he said basically uh, that he saw that a point in time that he thinks that all right, this is a quote from the next page. He says, John Bitove told Peterson, who was his in the ownership group with him, there's going to be a point when basketball will outstrip hockey in this city. Yeah, he said that and he predicted that way back before in the very beginning. So this is the thing. John Bitove was a young man when he did all this, guys. He was only like in his 30s. And because he was a younger man, he had crazy ideas about how to do things that maybe not were the norm as far as like being creative and stuff. Like the look of the Raptors logo, the way it is with the dinosaur and the way it is and the spikes, and it was very different and very forward thinking at that time in the NBA. And part of that was because he really wanted it to feel fresh and young. And he was the director of the feel of our team right at the beginning, whether it was the choosing of the colors, whether it was the putting us on city TV locally. There was all kinds of different things that John did to differentiate basketball from hockey in the very early days of the Toronto Raptors. He needed to have something new, fresh, appealing to children, appealing to people of all walks of life. And I thought he nailed it right out of the park. The fact that we have the red dinosaur and the fact that the Raptors, the name and logos, the old jersey is so popular shows that it just has staying power, even though at that time, those jerseys were really, really different. We've got to understand in the 80s, the NBA jerseys were very plain, like the Lakers and the Celtics and the Chicago Bulls and the Pistons, regular jerseys. That's what all jerseys look like. But there was a renaissance in the mid 90s of bringing in new style jerseys that were crazy, like the Raptors jersey. All teams started getting really crazy, different kind of logos and different putting their mascots on their jerseys in different ways. Whereas before it was just numbers and letters for NBA jerseys for the most part. So yeah, the Raptors jersey is a trendsetter. And it's one to this day that is extremely popular. And that this logo and the original Raptors jersey is a lot has to do with John Bitove. It's crazy. Now, he was only the owner of the Raptors in the first season of the Raptors. He was forced out after the second season. And the story for why he was forced out is actually really, really interesting. Now, the Raptors needed a new arena. That was part of the deal with getting the team. They were not supposed to be playing in the Sky Dome. It would have been nice if we just avoided playing the Sky Dome all along. Well, a lot of people ask, why didn't they play in the Maple Leaf Gardens with the Leafs? Well, that's because the Leafs hated the Raptors coming into their market. Yeah, they did not like this at all. In fact, they were being hard asses and they say, no, we won't share the Maple Leaf Gardens with y'all. Y'all have to go and play in a baseball stadium instead. Yeah, they were very, very anti-Raptors right from the start, the NHL and Maple Leaf Gardens and the Maple Leafs. So basically what happened was we found the site, and John Bitove Jr. not only is very much responsible for this logo and our original jerseys, he's also responsible for our current building we play in, the Scotiabank Arena. He originally saw the site where he wanted to build the new arena for the Raptors at the old postal building south of Union Station down by Lake Ontario. And he said, we're going to build it here. He was the one who came up with the design of using the existing building walls with the nice relief sculptures in the walls. Like if you go to Air Canada Center / Scotiabank Arena and you walk around the north side, the east side, and the south side of the building, you will see in the wall the original building, the postal building where they used to send stuff out on the train lines downtown Toronto. And they're still existing there. It was a beautiful meshing of the past with the future of taking honor to the old in the past of the postal building history and leaving those etchings in there while building beautiful glass and concrete and metal structure on the side of it into a high level, beautiful top level NBA arena. Now, there were problems in the mid 90s with this building. It took a long time for them to build the Air Canada Center. And it was because of a lot of different bullshit. I'm going to tell you right now. In some ways, the Raptors and John Bitove Group didn't have the funds or the ways to get this completely done. And they were looking for help in different ways. The Leafs were kind of ready to get out of Maple Leaf Gardens because it was aging and not in very good shape. In fact, they figured out they could do something different. But they had told the Raptors and John Bitove they didn't want to have anything to do with them, that they didn't want to share no building with them. In fact, they were making it so awkward and difficult for the Raptors. They were hoping they were going to fail because they were either going to run out of money, or they were going to mess up on their deal with the NBA to get arena built in time for things. So it was crazy. Stavro and the Leafs were telling them, we're going to build an arena at Exhibition Place instead. That they had a whole separate plan than Bitove and the Raptors, that they wanted to build where our building is now. And the Leafs want to build something over near BMO Field in that area over there. Well, what happened was both deals were having trouble and not coming through correctly. And both were in really big trouble. So there was an idea devised by some of the ownership to try and marry them together, the Leafs and the Raptors, so they could share the building, because it would make more sense economically. If they're both in the same building, they can switch off on when they use it. But Stavro was being an asshole. And the reason why is this. Stavro hates the Bitove family. And the reason why is this. They're family, y'all. Steve Stavro is the cousin of John Bitove Sr., and they're both from Macedonia. They both came from Macedonia to Toronto as immigrants, and they're family. They're cousins. They are cousins. Well, apparently there's some sort of family problem between the Bitoves and the Stavro, and that was why that Steve Stavro didn't want to have anything to do with John Sr. or Jr. So he made a hardline stance and said, I will help. I will get involved with the Raptors and building this new arena with the Leafs, but only if John Jr. is not in the ownership group anymore. And it was all family dispute, guys. It was cousins. They're cousins. They're related. And at some point, there was some sort of falling out, and the grudge stuck for a long, long time between John Bitove Sr. and Steve Stavro. So it's messed up. Now, the thing is crazy is that Steve Stavro was being a jerk. He was like saying, I will never, ever build an arena with the Raptors. I'm building it at Exhibition Place. But once he got this deal done where Maple Leafs would buy the Raptors and the building for like $500 million, he felt better about that, because in some ways the Leafs had control of the Raptors now. And the Raptors weren't a competing sports ticket. They were actually in the same company. So everything the Raptors made for profits helped the Leafs at that point. So, yeah, it's crazy. And he got to force out an archenemy, a family member that he hates, out of the ownership group. And that was really, really sad that happened. But, of course, we know the story. The Leafs and the Raptors moved in the Air Canada Center, and it was all bought and owned by Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. Now, once they bought the team, in some ways, look, when Bitove was running the team early on, he was focused and he was all about the Raptors first. But when we came into MLSE, we became secondary citizens in our own corporation. And I know because I firsthand worked at that arena when they built it, the Air Canada Center in 1999. I was there when they played their first games and their first concerts in that building. And I saw it from the inside. As somebody who was so basketball centric, I saw just how they were poo-pooing and giving everything the short end of the stick for the Raptors in the basketball side. That's why I was mad. That's why I started hating the Leafs, is because while I was working in there, I could see just how unfair they were treating the two teams. And in some ways, the Leafs management was not about helping the Raptors to be successful. Seriously. That's why we had weird general managers and weird coaches. People that did not know what the fuck they were doing, like Bob Babcock and Kevin O'Neill. Because the people that were in charge, Richard Petty, they were in charge of the Leafs too, and they were more worried about Leaf shit than they were worried about Raptors stuff. So it was a really, really big problem for a big chunk of that time from 99 on to 2010. And it really didn't start getting better until Lewicki showed up and he hired Masai. And Masai came in. He was capable. In some ways, he gave the Raptors space to breathe and get their own things going without the meddling of MLSE and other people from the Leaf side of things. So it's a crazy thing. They forced John Bitove out because of an old family grudge. And that's the only way that deal could get done. It helped the Leafs, it helped the Raptors, it helped the Air Canada Center get built. But man, at what a cost that a trailblazing, forward thinking, great man that helped us get our team in the first place was ousted. And it was bitter about it too, because in some ways it's like this was a win for Steve Stavro and the Leafs taking the Raptors and having control of them. And to this day, we're still under the umbrella of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. And I still don't trust that shit, is what I'll say about that. So that's part of the reason why I tell people all the time, we need Masai, because Masai keeps things right between us and MLSE. He makes sure the Raptors get what they're supposed to get and the whole piece of the pie. Because in some ways, if we had a less steadfast and tough a person in charge of the Raptors, we get run roughshod by the Maple Leafs and Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. Seriously. Masai was the person who did that. You can talk about Colangelo. You can talk about Grunwald. You can talk about all the old GMs, but they didn't have any power in MLSE overall like Masai does. And that's part of the reason why people like Ted Rogers are a little wary of Masai Ujiri, because in some ways he elevates us and he gives us the platform to go and excel and succeed and win like we did in 2019. In some ways, if we had just been run by jabronis this whole time and Masai had never showed up, we would have never gotten a championship, y'all. We would have never gotten that championship in 2019. MLSE would just run us at a profit, just like they do the Leafs. And they don't give a shit about winning in the playoffs. Do the Leafs ever get past the first round? No, they don't. Because there's a business model for MLSE with people will buy the tickets and the sports apparel. They don't give a shit if they're winning. And Masai, he's the difference, because he came in and he says, I care about this team winning and I'm going to make sure this team wins. And he did. He did. So it's a crazy story. John Bitove would have loved to work with Masai Ujiri because they had the same passion and the same love for the Toronto Raptors franchise. And it's too bad. John had to sit from the outside and watch. And he's a young man. He's only in his early 60s at this point right now. And he got to see all the way up to the championship. And it's described in this book by Alex Wong, Prehistoric. The day the Raptors won the championship, he was sitting in the restaurant at Wayne Gretzky's restaurant on 99 Blue Jays Way. And he watched it. And he was like, in some ways, his vision to make the NBA successful in Toronto came true. He's successful. In some ways, he had a dream that the Raptors, his team, the NBA team that he brought to Toronto would win a championship. But he is so far detached from the team over the years that in some ways he didn't get to enjoy it as much as he should have, honestly. In some ways, him and his wife, Randy, he was bitter about things with the Raptors because he was forced and ousted out. And in some ways, it was hard for John to watch Raptors games after that happened over the years since. But you know what? That night when we won the championship against the Golden State Warriors, he went out in the street and he joined the fans in downtown Toronto and he celebrated with them. And without him, they aren't in the street like that. So respect to John Bitove Jr. and his vision and his question, why isn't basketball bigger in Canada? Well, you made it bigger in Canada, my man. If you've done anything in your life, you've done that, John Bitove. I'll say that right there. So, yeah, let's share the love for John, because honestly, we don't have no team without him. We don't have no team without him. We don't have our channel here with me. We don't have none of this shit without any of the thing that John Bitove did early. And I love that he was so young. And part of it was he hired other young people around him. And that young feeling around the team was part of the enthusiasm, the new look, the edginess, the coolness of it, and what made it get successful. If some old fogey had came in and been in charge of the Raptors in the beginning, it may not have been successful, because it could have been just kind of like run-of-the-mill, same old shit kind of stuff. But because Bitove was a trailblazer, he has forward thinking. He was thinking about what's going to be hip, what's going to be sustainable for decades to come from here. Well, you hit the nail on the head, mister, because this team is still badass. This name is still badass. And the motif of the Toronto Raptors is still going strong 30 years later. And I appreciate him. In this 30th anniversary season, we're coming up here. 30 years ago, John Bitove, you're a badass. And I appreciate you in every kind of way. Yeah, his family was involved in a lot of restaurants in the mid-20th century. They were opening restaurants all over the east side of Toronto, the beaches area, Danforth, and places like that. And then Steve Stavro was, of course, the cousin, was opening a bunch of grocery stores around the same time. I don't know what happened in their family beef. Why the Macedonian family of Bitove and Stavro went, and it was like, yeah, I can't be around my cousin because I hate him, and he can't be an owner of this group anymore. Alan Slate put the shotgun clause on John Bitove Jr., and boom, he had to go, which sucked because he did not want to. Trust me. He did not want to, but financially, he was not in a position to make it happen where he could buy out Alan Slate. So it was basically like two different owners with the same share of percentage of the ownership of the team facing off and saying, look, I want you out because I want to go with them, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment and Steve Stavros. And you are not invited. And it's like, and you know, I wonder what would have happened if Bitove had raised the funds, had done what he needed to do to keep his ownership stake. What would the Raptors look like at this point? Would we have failed? Would we have been in trouble because we didn't finish the Air Canada Center in time for the NBA stipulation? Because that was a big fear in the mid 90s. In some ways, that was part of the way the Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment was able to strong arm owning the Raptors, is because y'all are going to lose your team if you don't let us own you, is kind of what was going on there. In some ways, they were playing games. They're like, no, we don't want to be in an arena with you. There was all kinds of crazy press in the mid 90s about our arena, about Steve Stavro, about John Bitove, about Alan Slate, and what the hell was going on with our ownership group, and what the hell was going on with our new building. A lot of confusion, a lot of backtracking on stupid shit that was said. And well, it worked out the way it did. In some ways, I don't know. Could we see a future where Bitove bought out Slate instead and still managed to get our building built without the Leafs involved with us? That's the thing right there. So in some ways, the shotgun clause put on Alan Slate putting on John Bitove was not cool, because in some ways that made us have to be paired with the Maple Leafs. That's what happened after that. So yeah, a little history lesson for Raptor freaks and Raptor fans and Raptor casuals. Just a little history lesson on the history of our team and where we were at and all the craziness. And then there's stuff with Isaiah in the middle of this where he's trying to be an owner and being in charge, and he tried to help John and tried to buy out a certain part. And then he was with Allen, and then he had to leave and he went to NBC. Yeah, there was all kinds of crazy stuff happening around that time. All right, let's see what y'all are saying in the comments. Y'all, let's share the love for John. And y'all talk about how you feel like he is somebody that you just express love for. Because honestly, we don't have our team without that guy, the visionary vision of him. And we appreciate you. You may be forgotten in a lot of the annals of the Raptors history. You may not been around very long, just for one season. But the impact you had at the very beginning has had a strong, strong sense of the feel of our team ever since. And I appreciate you for that. In some ways, once again, he also instilled that he wanted us to be like the Detroit Bad Boys from Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, and part of it was hiring Isaiah and putting him in charge as a team president. He wanted us to have that mentality. He wanted us to be a team that rebounded and played scrappy defense. In some ways, the motif that he wanted has stayed true. You can look at Nick Nurse's years with the defense we had. You can look at our calling card as a franchise over the years. In some way, the Raptors are going to rebound. They're going to hustle. They're going to play with strong energy and defense. And that was the original vision of John Bitove Jr. Once again, right there. Trevor's saying, good morning, family. You can't lose what you never had. You can't keep what's not yours, and can't hold on to something that doesn't want to stay. Wow. In some ways, listen, the most important thing anybody can remember in their life to stay happy is control what you can control and say what you can say, and that's it. You think you control other people, you're going to be very, very disappointed and sad, and you may have anger about that. Well, that's part of why you need to just let go. Because honestly, the only people we can control is just this person, your damn self. And you can control what you say, and you do. And that's a lot of power in that. But if you understand the difference in what is what in the lines, you will be so much happier. In some ways, I tell people, it's like, look, these people are going to be jackasses no matter what. You can't control them. Just accept them for who they are and move on and be your own life. Sometimes these people are like this because they got to give you a good, bad example of how not to be. That's stuff like that, right there. Thank you, Trevor J, for your words of wisdom. Commissioner Fun, Trevor J, we love you, man. Monique saying, good morning, Raptor Free crew. More love indeed for John. Thank you. No Raptors, no John. That's right. Mo. That's right. In some ways, I want to shake his hand. If I ever run into John Bitove Jr., I want to shake your hand, sir. And thank you for your vision. Thank you for your passion for the sport of basketball. He said it's really true what he's saying. You know, he was around Indiana and playing basketball as a youngster, and it really is culture there. Oh, yeah. It really is a way of life. And in some ways, he was like, why don't we have more of this up in Canada? In some ways, basketball has always been lurking around Canada in different ways, whether it was the original Huskies in 46, whether it's different collegiate teams, whether it's the Olympics, whether it's the kid from Kiel, whether it's whatever, those kind of things. But why isn't it more prominent? And why isn't a city, a mega city like this one, supporting its own team? Well, he changed that. He made it happen. And I'm so appreciative to you. I love you, John Bitove Jr. I'll say that right now. That's right. Cowboy saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Down to you, Cowboy. And I'm using your advertisement as the book mark for the book today because, honestly, I want to put on blast Alex Wong's book, Prehistoric. Amazing book. Y'all can find it online on Amazon, wherever. Don't go to Amazon. Buy it from the shelf in the bookstore. Go on down. Get some exercise on your legs and don't get Amazon to deliver it. Go down there and say hi to some people on the way down and buy it in person. That's what I say to y'all. Get Alex Wong's book, Prehistoric. But also call Tada 647-833-6844. Franchises are available if you're into cleaning and doing odd jobs and handyman stuff. If you have some experience in that, maybe you can help out Bradley and them. They're working in your area. Tada will help you with any kind of odd job. That's right. Tada. Trevor's saying that in Brazil, a court has banned Elon Musk and X, the Twitter, from their country. I'm not surprised by this. It's a cesspool of violence, sex, and misinformation, racism, all kinds of stupid shit on there right now. Very much got a algorithm that's purporting right-wing crazy shit. So yeah, I can totally see why they did this down in Brazil. I commend you, Brazil. You have sense to your country. We should probably do that shit up here. Seriously. Tom's saying, good morning. Good day, Raptor Freak family. Good day to you, Tommy. Always good to see my guy Tom out in the Victoria on the BC side of things. That's right, Tommy. I hope you're waking up right this morning. Of course, it's about 7 a.m. for Tommy this morning right now over on the West Coast time. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. Canadian Dana, good morning to you. Let's get up and wake and bake. I hope you're doing great, Dana, and have a great long weekend, guys. It's a long weekend. And once again, I just want to say this as a public service announcement that's very personal to me. We've seen the Gaudreau brothers get run over by a drunk driver on their bikes. It's a long weekend, y'all. Don't make bad choices with your life. If you're going to drink and have fun this weekend, you stay the fuck away from the wheel. Because if you get behind that wheel, then Lex is going to be pissed at you. So make a plan. If you're going to have a good time, have a good time. But don't be driving nowhere and don't be going to get more beer while you're drunk. It's just stupid, bad logic. And it is very dangerous, and you can cause tragedies, just like what's happened this week in the NHL with those brothers that got ran down. It's sounding like more and more with more of the details that this guy road raged them, that he may have actually ran over them on purpose because there's a weird situation where he was trying to pass two cars. The second car in front of him tried to get into the other lane, and then he cut back in to the lane and didn't see the bike guys, or maybe he saw them and he just ran them over. Could very well be people being impatient because there's some cyclists in the road ahead of them, and they're going a little slower than the cars would, and people are getting all belt up. Listen, if y'all are in a hurry when you're driving, you need to slow the fuck down. I don't give a shit if you're drinking or whatever you're doing. You shouldn't be driving crazy just because you think people in front of you are driving too slow. All these people out there that are trying to cross people and double lines on country roads, you're dangerous. And it don't matter if you're intoxicated or not. Y'all need to slow the fuck down and obey the speed limits is what I'm saying right here. Yeah, they are speed limits for a reason. And everybody who's out there in the trucks driving like wild abandon out here in the country where I live, y'all need to slow the fuck down is what I'm going to say, whether you're drinking or not is what I'll say right there. Yeah. So just a quick public service message. Don't drink and drive, especially this weekend on a long weekend in Ontario. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Tommy's got a menagerie of Raptors here in order. We got Davion Mitchell. We got Brendan Carlson. We got Jacoby Walter. We got Jamal Shedd. We got Bruce Brown Jr. We got Bruno Fernando. We got Jonathan Mobo. Look at Tommy showing off his emoticon work. Beautiful, beautiful lineup of Raptors. It's like the second team in there, man. Yeah, I love it. That's our bench, bro. That's a good bench right there. I'm seeing it. Yeah. Monique saying Tom John is still around. Why? Rest in peace. Tom John is still around. Oh, he's probably saying rest in peace to his father, John Bitove Sr., who died in the mid 2010s. That's who he's saying rest in peace to. So it's like the senior is dead, but Junior is still alive. So that's why you're confused, Mo. He's just saying rest in peace to the father of John Bitove Jr. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Ahmed is here. Good to see Ahmed, the champion of Raptor Freak Trivia. Here's his name right here, 2024 champion of Raptor Freak Trivia. Good morning, y'all. I start school tomorrow. There is a strike going on right now, so there's a high chance that the first day gets canceled tomorrow. Y'all have a teacher strike? Wow. There's a lot going on in your country over there, Ahmed. Jeez. Well, I just wish you safety as always. And well, you get days off. Hey, hey. Maybe you'll be watching the Raptor Freak in the morning. We'll have to see. Tommy saying actually senior passed away on July 30th of 2015. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. I just looked at that too because I looked at his Wikipedia also. I mean, let me look at John Jr. a little bit more, guys. Now, some of the stuff that John's worked in around Toronto in Canada is he's one of the guys who is in charge of Sirius XM radio. That he is somebody who is an owner in that radio. So he's been invested in Sirius Radio. He's also involved in a scooter, electric scooter company called Bird that has 350 cities in 34 countries where they provide electric scooters in the downtown region. So yeah, pretty cool. He's also been involved in Mobilicity, a mobile wireless service, which was actually bought by Rogers in 2015. So he probably made a bunch of money off that. So yeah, he's been involved in all kinds of interesting stuff, and he's done very well with it. Of course, the '94 FIBA World Championships was a huge, huge, huge accomplishment. And of course, landing the Raptors and getting them started successfully here in this country is another huge one. He was also involved in the bid for putting the Olympics in Toronto in 2008. He was the volunteer president of the movement to try and land the Olympics here in 2008. Of course, they were unsuccessful. So he's done a lot of cool, interesting things. Of course, I've talked about his family being involved in restaurants and his very lifelong a connection to the Wayne Gretzky restaurant. I don't even know if it's still there. I think they've torn it down because they were doing so much on that area, Blue Jays Way near King Street down there. They keep tearing down buildings and building new condos around there. So, yeah, I don't even know if it's still there. Yeah, let's see. Tommy's got Mo on blast. Let's see. Fiercely said, good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. Good morning to you, MJ. Hope everything's going good in the nation's capital of Ottawa. Fiercely saw Sarah holding it down there for us. And there's David Saborn, our trivia commissioner, on the bus to Ottawa to visit the parents. My connection is random on this highway, and my phone may die. So keep track of the card and the score, please. Will do for you, David. And since he said that, let's go ahead and do our classic card for today. Let's see who we get and see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? All right, let me see. Where is the card I want? Who is that? Oh, yeah, let's do this card. This card's fun. This card is fun. All right, guys. First person to write in the full name of this person on this classic basketball card will get points to their Raptor Freak trivia score for the season. And maybe you'll be on this trophy next summer. We'll put your name on it on a nameplate. So we'll see. All right, let me come back to 948. So here we go, guys. Here's the classic card of the day. And David's given me the ruling judgment of saying how many points. So let's see how y'all do. This is fun. All right, let's see. Can y'all see that guy right there? I don't know if I should go closer. It may be too easy at this point. Let's just see. Can y'all name who that is? It's very interesting. This is an eye test, of course. You got eye candy. You got eye test. This is some ways you got to see who is that. How good are your eyes? That's right. Yeah. Brian's saying that Wayne Gretzky's is gone. That's sad. That restaurant was awesome. I have a lot of good memories in that restaurant myself, and I don't like hearing that it's gone. No guesses so far for the classic card of the day. Should I bring it closer? Are our eyes failing us? Do I need to get my glasses, guys? Roy Hashimura, Tom? No, it's not Roy Hashimura. Here, let me put the glasses on again. I look weird with them on. You can really see my eyes, right? Hi, guys. I'm wearing my reading glasses. Who is that? Actually, you can see me. I can see him really good when I put the glasses on. I can see him now. You guys should be able to tell who that is. Come on, guys. I don't want to give you any clues because it's too easy if I give you a clue. This is obviously not an NBA card, if you can see that. It's not an NBA card, is it? No, that's not an NBA jersey. And that looks like there's a certain emblem in the corner there for a certain school. Maybe Bryce is here. He knows that school. That's right. Matisse Thybulle. I can't see shit. David, you need glasses like me, man. This is my 49th birthday present. Is reading glasses. Yeah, that's not Thibault, but I can see why you thought that because of the hairstyle, a little bit like a Thibault hairstyle, but that's not Thibault. This is somebody we love, guys. This is somebody we love. I'm gonna take them off. In some ways, I don't need them for this right now. I just using the glasses today. It's kind of funny. Oh yeah. I got reading glasses. They're only for reading. And I just got them at the drugstore. I didn't get a prescription or eye test or anything. They're hard to get used to. Well, David, you only wear them when you're reading. Like this is perfect for when I was reading prehistoric. I can read it so much easier without hurting my head. That's why I'm telling you, David, you need to get some of these highfalutin Shoppers Drug Mart glasses. You can just get there. You don't need to go to the eye doctor or anything. Just get them and they work, man. It's pretty good. They're hard to get used to. You just don't wear them all the time. Just wear them when you have to read stuff, like small print on labels. All right, guys, I'll bring it closer since y'all are doing so poorly. That's too easy. If you see that, you see who that is now. You're going to get it now. Of course, you know who that is. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on. You going to tell me you don't know who this man is? Man, have we forgotten him already? Come on, y'all. Look at that little emblem right there. What a team is that? That'll tell you a lot right there. What team is that? And what team is this right here? This one right here on my shirt. Nobody's gonna guess. I'm really. David's like, oh, he's figuring it out in his head now. David, you're not playing because you're the trivia commissioner. Somebody else needs to get this. Seriously, where's Smooth Brown, man? Seriously, I'm gonna put it right up in the face of y'all so you can see who the hell this is. Come on, you know who that is. Yeah, you know who it is, David. Somebody needs to write it in right now. You better not half-ass it. You need to write both names. Seriously. This shouldn't take so long. Seriously. This should not take so long. This is such an easy card, y'all. I mean, this guy played on the Raptors last year, y'all. Come on. What the hell? Seriously, there's 16 of y'all in here, and y'all don't know who this is? Come on. Let me put it right up in the grill. Who is that, guys? Come on. This guy's from Buffalo. Y'all don't know who this is? Come on. Somebody get these easy points. Seriously, I'm so disappointed in y'all. Seriously. Yeah, Dana says, I don't know his first name. Oh, my God. You guys forgot him already. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Yes, Monique. Yes, Monique. You get the points. Monique Lawrence getting Jordan Nwora, guys. That's Jordan from Louisville. You guys can't remember Jordan Nwora. This is sad. This is sad. He played on our team last year, y'all. And now he's going overseas to Europe. It's a Louisville card of Jordan Nwora. Monique, I'm going to give you like 200 points, seriously, because that took too long. And it's ridiculous that y'all couldn't get Jordan Nwora. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Jeez. All right. You want me to write it in, David, or can you do it? Let me do it real quick. We'll put in more. Monique. Monique's going to get 200 trivia points for getting Jordan Nwora, which I'm so disappointed in you guys. I really am. I really, really am. This shouldn't have been so hard. Come on now, guys. Come on now. Jordan Nwora. And it's Monique. Monique. And we're going to give her 250. 250. Yeah, I'm going to give her 250. Why not? All right, there you go. There's your classic card of the day. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Let's see. All right, let's see. Where are we in the chat? Okay. Mo's saying Masai and company are going to be launching courts in the Caribbean. Yes, Masai. Yeah. This is cool. All right, so let me go to that little article story here. Masai Ujiri has launched a new initiative to grow basketball in Guyana and the Caribbean. So he's doing some of the stuff he's doing in Africa now in the island countries in the West Indies. That's fantastic. That is so, so good. So Masai's not just taking care of where he's from. He's doing stuff around the world. And this has been the case all along. He's done stuff in South Africa, Europe, all over the place, Asia. And that he's just trying to grow the sport of basketball all over the place. And this is signified. Kudos to our team president, Masai Ujiri, and initiative in the Caribbean. Very, 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 very good, Mo. Very, very, very good. And I'm going to give you a dunk for getting the classic card when nobody else would. And also bringing up that news right there. Monique is the MVP today, for sure. For sure. All right, where's she? I'm going to give her 155. 155 on the dunk sheet. David's saying, every time I take the bus, I remember why I always vowed to myself, I'll never take the bus again. Brutal, but hey, the money is right. I would make the best of it and just kind of look out the window and see what's going on in the countryside. I don't know. How long does that take, taking the bus from Toronto to Ottawa? It's probably, maybe you should take the train, David. I know my mother's taking the train to Ottawa, and I think she's going to take it to Ottawa very soon, this month, actually. So, yeah, maybe you should take the train, David. Maybe the train's better than the bus. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. Monique said, glad I visited Scotiabank last season. He needs to return this season, of course. Glad he visited who? Masai? Who visited Scotiabank last season? He needs to return this season, of course. I'm not totally sure who you're talking about, Mo. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Rapid Freak crew. I appreciate the history lessons of John Bitove. Hurrah. Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing we're trying to do on this channel is allow Raptors fans to know their history and understand it and celebrate it more. And yeah, kind of going over the struggles of getting our building built and how Bitove Jr. was filled in with all that with MLSE. Yeah, it's an old family grudge. They're cousins, and they're not coming to the dinner table with each other anymore, which is crazy. It's crazy. They're actually family. That's why. Wayne saying John Bitove deserves much love, tremendous love. Alan Slate was known as the Shotgun King. Most, if not all of his businesses were garnered from this business practice. The Toronto Snakes came calling. Yeah, that's a good one, Wayne. That's a good synopsis. I'm going to give you a dunk. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it sucks because in some ways it just shows how callous and cold the business world can be when this is a man who came in with this passion and came in with his vision and he came in with his ideas and stuff like that. But that there's no place for that in business, obviously. And these snakes, as Wayne has put them, came in and forced them out. And that's just like, this is business, baby. Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, I'm probably not going to ever do a Share the Love Club for Alan Slade. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you're saying John. John came back to the arena last year? Oh, very cool. I didn't know that he came back last season. Yeah, I hope he does come out and get his kudos. And everybody can celebrate him and applaud him and cheer for him at the arena. Just like the players, they're going to come back this season, like Terrence Ross. We need our original owner to come in too and get his share of applause and thanks for starting this 30 years ago. Seriously, yeah. Trevor's saying information on the two brothers who died. They were supposed to be best man at their sister's wedding yesterday. It's so sad. Yeah, they were in town. They're from New Jersey, so they grew up around the area where they died, and yeah, they were supposed to. Their sister was getting married yesterday. And what an awful thing! The day before you're going to get married, two of your brothers are killed in a horrible, horrible, tragic drunk driving wreck. I don't call those accidents because if you get behind the wheel while you're drunk, that's no accident. You have premeditated death and problems. That is a wreck. So no, there's no accident when something like that happens. There's liability and fault is what there is right there. Yeah, that's very, very horrible. Matt Devlin, in particular, very, very hurt by the news about the Gaudreau brothers. Because, of course, Matt has very much a foot in the hockey world with his sons competing at a high level in different ways. I think one of his sons is actually in the NHL. So, in some ways, Matt Devlin, the voice of the Raptors, was very hit hard by this tragedy. Seriously, he's been all over social media in the last 24 hours. Talking about this a lot. And man, I feel for you, Matt Devlin. I know that you know, in some ways, I didn't know much about the NHL and Gaudreau's, but I can tell this is really messed up. This is really messed up. Once again, two people are dead. Two NHLers are dead. That's really messed up. Really, really messed up. David saying that this is exactly why I don't drive. I get insane road rage. Haha. And yeah, fuck that. Haha. Yeah. No, listen, nothing is that important for anybody to get so angry behind the wheel. You guys aren't playing video games. This isn't Gran Turismo. This isn't Need for Speed Underground. You motherfuckers out there driving like you're on a race with other people. Seriously, chill the fuck out so everybody can arrive alive. Because I'm just sick of this shit. It's people really that having that much of a problem with themselves. They don't feel good about themselves. That they have to go out and try and race people and feel better about things and drive high speed, crazy ass, stupid ways. Listen, I know I was a street racer when I was a teenager. I have driven really crazy in the past, and I've done crazy ass shit on street roads, and I'm not totally proud of it. I understand the thrill of it. I understand all that kind of shit, but it's not worth it. And you can really, really do some damage and change some lives in very horrible ways if you're not smart. So I say anybody who's trick racing or speed racing or drag racing around the greater Toronto area, you need to cut that shit out. And these motherfuckers are closing down highways now and doing like spin out tricks and stuff. What the fuck is this shit? Seriously, what is that shit, too? I mean, it's crazy, man. But yeah, everybody chill out and take your time, drive safely, obey the rules of the road, and everybody can get there alive, arrive. That's right. That's right. Cowboy's saying, have a great and safe time, David. Adapt to you, Cowboy. Thank you. Yeah. And Tommy's got the bus. Yeah, the bus. And there's David on the bus. David's on the bus. David's on the bus. Brian is here. Brian Hussein of To The Point, y'all. Check out Brian's YouTube channel. Fantastic stuff. I've been catching up on more of your clips from over the summer. I saw your reaction to some of the finals games, Brian. Always good to see you. Adapt to you. What's up, Freak Nation? And yeah, Wayne Gretzky's is gone. They demolished it because they're going to build something new there. That's where Second City used to be also when I used to take courses there. And you go downstairs and you'd eat at Wayne Gretzky's. And they had some pretty good food. They had a whole bunch of nostalgia in those hallways. You go up to the bathroom, you see all the pictures of John Candy, Eugene Levy, and all the SCTV people and all the big celebrities that used to hang out at Gretzky's. In some ways, they should have made that place a fucking heritage site instead of building some new ass, stupid ass condo that they put in that place. In some ways, that makes me mad that Gretzky's restaurant is gone at this point, man. That makes me mad in some ways. Yeah. Yeah. All right. There's the classic card. Let's see. Good job getting it, Monique. I'm really proud of you. I'm glad somebody got it, bailed us out. Dana said Jordan is such a generic name for first name. Well, we know why at this point. Why is Jordan such a popular name? Number 23. That's right. All these people started naming the kid Jordan because of Michael Jordan. And that's why there's so many damn Jordans since the 90s. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to name you after Michael Jordan. Jordan. Okay, Jordan. That's why there's so many Jordans. Is because of MJ. Because they want him to be like Mike. They want to be like Mike. Tom saying never liked him. Just kidding. You're talking about Jordan Wara? Man, what are you talking about? He was a real one for us. He really did want to make our team. It was kind of sad to see how his summer went. I was wondering if he'd come back and be a part of the Raptors, but no, he was part of that second half of the season where all those guys were dismissed. And it's like, yeah, a lot of y'all aren't going to be on the team next year. I was saying that last year too. In the end, when we were losing so much and we're playing so much of the G League guys, I was like, yeah, some of these guys aren't going to be around next year. This is just a bad look. And in some ways, for us to get better, we've got to get rid of these guys. I was wondering where Jordan Wara was in the middle of that. Is he? Well, he probably was right in the middle of that. As far as these guys, for sure. You go on then, Mogi. Yeah, you go on now. But Jordan, I was like, man, there's a chance. There's a chance. I mean, he's a champion with the Bucks. He's had some good years. He actually looked good. And a lot of the time he played for us last season. But no. And then not only did we not take him, nobody else in the league wanted him either. So now he's going overseas. He's going to be playing in Europe this season. Jordan Wara. I feel bad about it, man. And he's a Buffalo kid. He was a real one for Toronto. He's a Raptors fan. And, man, we can't disrespect that. He really did. I mean, in some ways he got his dream. You play for the Raptors, guy. You played for the Raptors for a half season. And you should be proud of that. I don't know if you're going to come back to the NBA at this point. It's just like that. It's just like that. People coming in and people got to go. And Jordan Wara's gone out to Europe at this point. He's not in the NBA anymore. It's just how it is. Yeah, David's mind's blown because Tommy's dissing Jordan Wara. That's mean. Let's see. David's on the bus and he's got like he wants to cuss. He's trying to be namaste. He's got the thumbs up, the planet, and a fish and a flower. Okay, yeah. Just think good, happy thoughts. Rainbows and puppy dogs, David. Just go to your happy place. If you have to George Costanza it or Frank Costanza it, you just go, serenity now, serenity now. Just do that shit on the bus and say it out loud, too. Maybe people will, like, freak out near you because they're like, why is this guy saying serenity now? Man, we should get away from him. You know, people chop heads off on buses in Canada. Yeah, no, he ain't going to do anything like that. But yeah, David, if you start doing like a little Buddhist, like a yoga pose, and you start saying serenity now, people will move away from you. They will. Yeah. David's saying if you don't take the milk run, it's only like 5.25. So wait, it takes you like 5.5 hours to get there if you don't take the milk run. I'm guessing, is that the express bus? I'm not totally sure. Wayne saying Nwara was not significant in our season. Masai needs to head to Jamaica first. Name me an athlete from Guyana. We have the most talented free agent. Well, that's the thing. There's nobody there. I don't even know. I mean, there are Jamaican guys, obviously, because Jamaica's had a decent team, I think, or Bahamas. Bahamas has done really well recently. Um, it may be access problems, and that may be why, Masai may be understanding that maybe Guyanese players are good, and he wants to go tap that market, and he's going to kind of get in there himself. And once again, Masai's in the gateway person. These youngsters that come up, they're like, "Wow, thank you, Ujiri. You opened the door for us." May end up on Raptors team. So that's the thing. If Masai's down in the West Indies now doing this stuff over there in the Caribbean, he may see potential of stars coming up there. And that's why he's getting in there first and opening the door. And maybe there was no access to come from those islands. And that's why we haven't seen any. That may be why, Wayne, right there. So, yeah, it's too bad about Wara. He's a nice guy. And I could tell his heart was with us. That's more why. But I mean, you're right. And Wayne Strainer's always been a hardliner. He said, well, I don't care if he's a nice guy. I don't care if he's Canadian. I don't care if he's this. Does he help our team win to get a championship? And I got to go with Wayne on this one. I mean, that's part of it right there. He's around a lot of losing in the second half of the season. And in some ways, his game wasn't complete. There were things that Jordan Wara did very well on the offensive end, like some very good three-point shooting, some good attacking the rim. But his defense was suspiciously bad in certain ways, is what I'll say right there. Yeah. And in some ways, he just doesn't have the foot speed to move around in certain ways. And he gets beat and burned on the regular by NBA talent. And that was a part of it. Yeah, Stargate's saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Stargate. Always good to see the man raging inside the machine. And I hope your birthday week has been fantastic, sir. Yeah, David's saying, the train is better, about an hour faster, but it's $150 one way, and the bus was $42, and it drops me off in a more convenient spot for my folks to grab me. Okay, that's good reasoning. That's good reasoning. Yeah, the train is probably the middle path. I mean, you could fly too, I guess, and maybe that's way more expensive. I like that David's penny pinching. He's kind of thinking about stuff like that. He's going to suffer a little bit just to save some money. I find that admirable. That's what you got to do, man. If you're in the bus and you're ruining it, you don't like it, well, go ahead and just think about the money you're saving, David. That's what'll get you through there. Monique's got the countdown because Andrew's not here today. She's saying 36 days until Raptors preseason. October the 6th, Bell Center, Montreal, Washington Wizards. We'll meet you there, and we'll have a preseason game to cover then. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I can't wait to start doing previews and reactions again. In some ways, the offseason's fun to just kind of talk about general stuff. But when we get focused and we're really, really looking at the nuts and bolts of an opponent we're playing that night, or we're talking about what happened the night before and reacting the next day, this is the best channel every single day. You get a live opportunity to put your opinions out there about what you think is going to happen with the team that night and what you think about the game that happened the night before. So definitely be locked in on the Raptor Freak channel during the season for our previews and reactions for every single game this season. Every single game. There's a game that day. There's a preview in the morning. And Lex will have the information you need to know. And then the next day, I want to hear what y'all thought about the game, your opinions on different players, on plays, on things that happen in the game, whatever it is. The referees were screwy. Yeah, we'll go over referee manipulations very up close and very on play-by-play stuff. And I can straight up tell you how Ed Malloy is crooked as hell. Yeah, I can tell you straight up how Scott Foster should still maybe not be refereeing the NBA because of his connection to Donaghy. So, yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff coming up, and I can't wait. 36 days. Monique, thank you for the countdown. I'm going to give you another dunk just for bringing the countdown up and catching that baton in the absence of Andrew not being here. Andrew, we love you, and we hope you're having a great Saturday so far. I know it's grind to be here every day. 158, Monique. You're climbing up. You got a three-pointer. Let's see. Nako's here. Good to see my good friend Gerald Mayhew. He's a stand-up comedian here in downtown Toronto. If you ever see Gerald Mayhew on the comedy marquee, that is our good friend, Nako the Nacho. Let's see what he's saying here. I'm an angry driver when I'm in a rush. Not dangerous, just angry. Almost leisurely drives are great. You see, that's the way to be. In some ways, look, it sucks. Traffic in Toronto sucks. And in some ways, if you have deadlines or somewhere to be by a certain time, I'll tell you right now, don't drive. Don't drive. Take the GO train. Take a bike. Seriously. You know how many people downtown get to everything they need to get to right on time when they ride bikes? It's so much easier because you could go faster than cars in downtown Toronto on a bike. That's just the damn truth. It's seriously. You could go faster on a bike downtown than any other mode of transportation. And if they'd open up more bike lanes downtown and get more people encouraged to ride bikes to get more health, it would cause a whole bunch of congestion to go down and people would get around. They'd have better air to breathe. There's all kinds of good things about it. So it depends on where you're at. Now, I know Nako lives out in Mississauga. So if he's going to come into Toronto, he's got to either drive or take that GO. One way or another, Gerald. In some ways, you don't want to get frustrated. If you know you're in trouble, well, in some ways, I would say get a taxi cab and let them have all the stress. And you just sit back and they could be all stressed out and trying to get you somewhere by a certain time. But yeah, don't ever be an angry driver. It's not worth it. I know I can be like this too, like David and you, as far as road rage and getting angry. I have a history in Florida when I was younger where I would get into road rage incidents where we would get out in the street and start fighting. Yeah, this is like in the 90s in Florida. Yeah, around Florida State. Because it's crazy down there. People will cut you off and they'll talk trash, and they have guns in their cars sometimes too. So it's really not a good look. Road rage is a bad thing all around. Just trust me. No reason to get upset with people. Everybody's going to get somewhere at some point, at some time, as long as we all arrive alive. But if you're in a contest, you're trying to beat people to get there, you're going to cut people off. You're not going to be a courteous driver. If you're a tailgater, fuck you for all that kind of shit. You need to get off people's asses and stop cutting people off and be more courteous. It's the Canadian way. That's what I say right there. Nako saying Shoppers Drug Mart basement, Wayne Gretzky, rest in peace, Wayne Gretzky restaurant. Yeah, Nako has these memories just like me. He was at Second City with me taking classes. He was there with me taking the stand-up classes and the improv classes and the basement of Shoppers Drug Mart over at King and Blue Jays Way. And then above Wayne Gretzky's restaurant at Second City's very nice facilities. It's crazy, Gerald, how they got that place all set up and so nice. And then now, we're going to have to sell it and you got to go somewhere else. And they moved their new location for Second City over near the Scotiabank Arena. You can see the name of it when you're standing in Jurassic Park. You can actually see Second City on the side of the wall where it is, and in a building down there. And I have no idea what it looks like. I haven't gone to the new Second City. It's kind of crazy, Gerald. Kevin Frank wished me a happy birthday this week. I just out of the blue. He sent me a message. He said, Lexi, I want to say happy birthday to you. And I'm like, wow. Kevin Frank was the director of Second City for a long time. He's also a former performer on YTV. You may have seen him in kids shows in the early 2000s. But yeah, I said, thanks, Kevin. And I hope things are going good at the new location at Second City. He said, Lex, I haven't been at Second City since 2021. I've never worked at the new place. So he doesn't work at Second City anymore, Gerald, at all. I didn't even know that. He was the creative director, the boss in charge of the whole thing for a while there. But yeah, all the best and respect to Kevin Frank, the former head of Second City in Toronto, and whatever he's doing. Like he's told me he's playing his band a lot more now. He's really into playing with his band. So yeah, that's weird. Isn't that cool, Gerald, that he wished me a happy birthday this week? It's kind of cool. David's saying Kyle should open a restaurant on Blue Jays Way and call it Lowry's. It'd do well. Yeah, I mean, I'd get behind that. I don't know where it should be. It should be somewhere where it'd be safe and it's not going to be torn down in like the next couple decades, like the Gretzky's restaurant. I mean, that's messed up. It's messed up. In some ways, they don't understand how much history and how much amazing things happened in that Gretzky's restaurant. I mean, this is the place where John Candy used to hang out and drink. Who knows what the hell happened while John Candy was there? You know, people like Dan Aykroyd and all the Second City people, all these great Toronto celebrities and sports figures like Wayne Gretzky himself were down there. Joe Carter, all kinds of people were at Gretzky's. And that they don't have any respect for that. They're going to tear it down and build some ugly ass condo, some futuristic, new looking, like high rise condos, some bullshit. Yeah, it's messed up. David's saying, I've been singing On the Road Again over and over again. Haha, Willie Nelson, On the Road Again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. I'm just here sitting on a bus with my friends. They kind of smell and I wish it would end. Yeah, David, there you go. There's your On the Road Again Yankovic parody. There you go. There you go. Let's see. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying. I lost my place. Let me come back. Let's see. David's saying the guy behind escaped. He escaped because he heard you singing it. Are you singing it out loud? That may make people move away from you. Yeah. If you're singing on the road again, over and over again to yourself under your breath. Yeah, especially if you can't sing. That's right. Cool Cat saying, can't take being an NBA player for granted. It's very competitive. That's right. That's right. Don't be resting on your laurels. You better be playing defense. You better be listening to coach. You better have a good attitude because you may find yourself playing overseas very quickly. And there's an influx of new talent every single year. And in some ways, the NBA is taking on more spots for the youngsters every single year than retaining the veterans. This is a trend we've been noticing in the last 10 years or so. Is that that getting an aged NBA player like old Kevin Willis or Charles Oakley playing like 12 years in the league, it's just not common anymore. Most players, I'd like to see the stats actually. I'll bet you an average NBA career now is probably about 5 to 7 years, whereas in the old days it was probably 8 to 10 years. And it's very interesting that it's like that. There's not as many people sticking around for very long. And in some ways, you better get that money and get playing and play real well while you can, because you may not be in the league for that long. It may be that a player like Jordan Nwora would get a full 12-year career, but maybe this is what Anthony Edwards is talking about. This league is just too skilled at this point, and there's no place for him at this point. It's crazy. It's crazy. Nako's saying, I think Jordan's good, but I'd rather roll with Mobo, Boucher, Comche. I just don't think there's space for him. Yeah, there isn't. There isn't. We're taking on 5 rookies this year. 5 rookies are going to be, and they're going to be on a roster. They're not going to just be on 905. These guys are going to be available to play on the Raptors roster. So there's no spot. And like you said, is it a choice between Nwora and Shamshe? Is it a choice between Nwora and Mobo? Well, we got to go with the young potential, especially those guys will get paid less than Jordan. And, they have a lot more potential to grow even higher than Jordan. So we'll have to see. Maybe not Mobo, but Shamshe, yeah, for sure. I don't know. We have to see with Jonathan. All bunch of question marks about him. I think Shamshe's got a real good chance to be better than any of them, though. Yeah. Cool Cat saying Caribbean loves cricket, football, then basketball. It's great for Masai to explore basketball industry in the Caribbean. I see the revival of Caribbean Basketball League. Antigua used to win the most. That's what I'm saying. Like, if there was infrastructure and there were times and places where people could get noticed or play. I mean, are scouts for college teams in the United States scouting people in those islands? I don't know. It could very well be that Masai giving a little attention to that region of the world, it might open a door, just like what's happening with Africa now. So who knows? In some ways, look, Masai's going where the players are, I'll bet. And I'll bet you I will predict this right now, that there's going to be some player that's coming from Guyana in the next couple of years that's come to the NBA. He's going to be very good. Very, very good. And I mean, in some ways, they do their research. Masai is a master scout, and that's his bread and butter where he started. And in some ways, he may see the trends, and that region of the world has some great players to come to the league very soon. Yeah. Stargate saying, again, the players Raptors have just to have again, the players Raptors have to buy into the system and their specific roles within that system. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, in some ways, last year was Darko's first year, but it was such a in between year, transitory year, wedgie season, as I've called it, the wedgie season, like all the balls that got wedged between the backboard and the rim this year. But yeah, the wedgie season is not the best season to gauge Darko's system or even how good he is as a coach. Well, this season may be better because we'll have a clean slate. I don't see the front office doing such crazy shuffle up and deal kind of stuff during the season like they did last year. I mean, the fact that we changed our roster so much last season is so disruptive. And in some ways, we want to see Darko coming in for the whole summer of developing the guys and plans and coaching them and coming in with a focus for the whole summer instead of trying to scrap together his coaching staff and get everything ready. Yeah, this will be interesting to see. And I agree with you. These guys are going to have more definitive roles. And in some ways, they're starting to shape up. We've got a point guards. We've got centers. And they know what to play. We're not playing this positionless stuff we played a couple years ago. In some ways, these guys have roles. And in some ways, that means responsibilities are easy to check and see who's doing what they're supposed to be doing. Before, with positionless basketball, well, it could be anybody trying to do the responsibilities, and stuff falls through the cracks. And that's no good. That's no good right there. David's saying, absolutely, they all do that. We're kicking ass. That's right. Well, let's see. If they all do that, if they all buy in and they all understand and they all work hard and they all grow and they all get better, yeah, the Raptors will be better. The Raptors will be better. Yeah, Trevor's saying, why is it so expensive to travel in Canada? I remember I had to go to Thunder Bay. An Air Canada flight was $998. That's ridiculous. That is crazy. I have no idea. It may be fuel costs. It could be all kinds of bullshit. It could be that this is just another symptom of another industry that's getting monopolized by just a few companies, and they're driving prices up artificially just because they're greedy motherfuckers and getting profit. I mean, that's usually the case with why prices are high anywhere. It has nothing to do with inflation. It has nothing to do with, I would say this, the pandemic has something to do with it because they lost money during the pandemic. And the big secret is part of the reason why prices are so high is because these greedy corporations are going back and trying to recoup profits they would have had in 2020 when the world stopped. In some ways, that's part of the problem with why there's so many high prices. These people are greedy. The corporations are greedy. You can hear about these CEOs making crazy ass salaries. And if they get fired, they get balloon payments. It sounds like they're robbers. It sounds like they're convicts. It sounds like they're criminals. And that's the thing. It's like, why is this Starbucks so much? Well, because we just gave 700 million to a CEO, one person. What the fuck is that? Seriously, when are we going to start getting mad at the places where we need to get mad? And that's at the top of corporations and these crazy ass CEOs making so much damn money that it's just robbing everybody. Robbing everybody. That's right. Monique is saying John Bitove and Elaine Kwan are the top two people I want to see return for next season, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and so on. Well, isn't Elaine still working there? I think she's still working for the Raptors in the position she's at. I think she has stuck around. I'm not totally sure, though. I thought it said in prehistoric that she might be still working there, partly because, listen, she has the Rolodex. She's done this for so long. Her job is in charge of bringing celebrities to the game, is bringing in people like Sylvester Stallone and a music artist or Bianca Andreescu. So people like that. She's the one who could get those tickets to those kind of athletes and movie stars and celebrities and sit them at the front row. So she's got a Rolodex and she's built it up over the decades. So she's invaluable. In some ways, if you fire her and you get somebody else in there, well, you're starting from scratch. And she's got easy connections all over the place in the industry to probably get people to come in. So I think she's still there. I think that that's the way I felt that I heard in the whole thing. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But yeah, Bitove definitely needs to come down there and get some kudos. For sure. For sure. I agree with that. Yeah, yeah. Stargate saying, cool cat. Cricket is not that popular anymore back home. Depends on the island. Not all islands are the same. Football, soccer is number one. Then I believe basketball, then track. Yeah, I could see that being the hierarchy there. And like I probably is true. Stargate saying that different places, are going to have different things. Jamaica, Antigua, St. Vincent, Bahamas. They're all going to have different focuses. I get that. That makes sense. Cowboy saying everybody slam dunk that like button. I appreciate that. Let me do the words of wisdom for Leo Routens real quick. He's saying this morning, guys. What makes you happy doesn't need to make sense to others. This is really true. Everybody's got their own ideas about how people should be in their lives. But if your life doesn't totally fit their life vision, well, you don't have to explain it to them. You don't have to be out there proving anything to anybody. Live your life and do what you do. If it makes you happy and other people don't understand it, well, fuck them. And some people would say that about this channel. They're like, Lex, why do you do this every morning? Well, it makes me happy. And in some ways, they'll be like, yeah, but why do you do this? You're not making any money doing this. I don't give a shit. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this for passion. And that's a way better motivation in certain ways. Some people will say, well, I don't understand you. Well, you don't have to. You really don't. I'm not living my life so that you have to understand me. That's what I'll say right there. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. Let's keep going. David's saying, Trevor, because the fucking government creates monopolies, banks, telecommunication, air, ground travel. So we have fewer options and are forced to use what they allow us to use in the companies. Yeah. A very good example is the telecommunications. Why do we have such bad cell phone coverage? Like cell phone companies suck, but we're paying more than ever to Bell. It's a monopoly. It is fucked up. The telecommunications racket up here, There's like people up here that are getting US phones and using them up here because it's cheaper, even with the long distance, because of how the cell phone companies are up here is really messed up. There needs to be more oversight, honestly. And once again, I'll say this again. The people that are going after people like Bell and Loblaws and the airlines are people that are getting maligned in the press. That these are the people that they're trying to tell y'all to hate. Well, and it's usually the liberals and the Democrats and the NDP. The big companies are paying so much money to the advertisements and all kinds of things for you to hate them. And because if you hate them, they aren't in office to fight the monopolies and to stop these prices. So I'm telling y'all right now, if y'all want to believe that bullshit about that side, go ahead, but you're wrong. The reason why you believe that is because some very rich corporations paid a lot of money to get you to believe that and to be against that. And it's just the damn truth. It's just how it is at this point. It's just how it is. So yeah, down south, Kamala Harris, if she wins the election, which I really hope she does, is really important. She's going to start fighting the corporations and start making prices to go down for U.S. citizens. And in some ways, hopefully, we could duplicate that up here. We need better politicians to fight the big companies that are basically they're paying everybody off, is what they're doing. They make so much money in profits that they're owning our governments. And we can't have that anymore. We need to stop letting corporations own our political system, is what I'm saying right now. And they need more competition. As a real free market, capitalism is supposed to have a free market, and there's supposed to be all kinds of options. And there's supposed to be a small options and big options. And that, the way that Walmart comes in and kills all the mom and pop small businesses, that's what I'm talking about right there. Nobody can have anything good because these big companies come in and they absorb and kill everything around it. And that's why you should buy local and buy small from small companies and not from the big, huge, mega monolithic companies like Walmart and Amazon and Starbucks. And you know who I'm talking about. Go to that little local bougie boutique coffee shop that's owned by somebody who works in it. And they are really trying to struggle and make some money against Starbucks. That's what I say to everybody out there. Find your spot in your neighborhood that you can sustain. Go and see these people instead of spending your money on jackass Starbucks, who's anti-union and union busting and all kinds of other bad things. That's right. That's right. David's saying railroad us, pun intended. Yeah, railroad us. In some ways, we need more options for our cell phones so that we can get better prices. They're just raising prices, and it's not like they add anything good to the services. Think about the cable company. Same thing. So cut that cord. Cut that cord. That's what I say right there. Yeah. David's saying, I'm going to start singing This Is the Song That Never Ends next. You start doing that. Yeah, you're going to get movement in that bus. Maybe you could get some flatulence going too. Why not, David? Why not? That's the old school way to do it. Yeah, just drop some bombs and sing This Is the Song That Never Ends. And just start singing it like, oh my gosh, people will be moving away from you in the bus. You might get some more leg room real quick. Yeah, Cowboys saying 36 more days till we get our first win. Let's go, Raptors. I'm probably going to say, yeah. We're going to play the Wizards in Montreal on October the 6th. That's probably going to be a win for us. We're perfect in record in Montreal in preseason games. Every single time we play in Montreal, the Raptors win. So there's a good chance. Yeah, we're going to win that day, Cowboy. Yeah, there's a good chance. Kareem saying, Cool Cat is beating me in fantasy. If I lose, I think I may become mute. Whoa, that's weird. Now, you can still type even if you become mute. So this won't affect your ability to be on the Raptor Freak stream. But I'll bet it'll be interesting at home with the kids and the wife. Yeah, you start being mute. It's like, why isn't Kareem talking? Because he lost in WNBA fantasy to Cool Cat. That's weird. It's kind of an interesting change. I kind of like it. Oh, they probably be like that. I don't know. Yeah, let's look at what's going on. I've got Fiercey on the ropes, 415 at 287. There's only 2 more days of competition. Fiercey is looking like I've got the best lead out of everybody in the playoffs right now. It's looking rough. MK is leading James, 392 to 315. So he's got a good chance to go to the next round and face me in the next round. So we'll see, champ, if we're going to see you in the second round. David and Morgan, very, very close battle. Only 6 points Morgan has on David in the lead. So that's going to go right down the wire. It's always fun when a couple is playing fantasy sports against each other. So David versus Morgan. This is fun. I'm sure there's been some smack talk this week. I hope there has been. And Cool Cat, as we said, is leading full ass Kareem by 50 at this point. That's tough, man. That's tough, man. In some ways, Kareem is not looking good. Of course, the winner of that matchup will play the winner of David and Morgan in the second round. So yeah, check your WNBA fantasy. We're on the home stretch in the playoffs right now. Yeah, let's go. All right, let's see. Cowboys laughing. Andrew's here. Andrew did show up. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. 36 days until preseason. We knew that. That's funny. Oh, wow. The book just fell off the wall. Let me just put this back. All right. He's saying 36 days until preseason. We're getting there. Hang on, people. Have a good weekend, y'all. And he's got 2 beavers in there this time. Yikes. They're multiplying. Let's see. Stargate saying, I knew Cool Cat was Antiguan. I know that accent anywhere. Troy Henry as well. Very interesting. Island people recognizing island people from accent. That's true. That's true. That there is distinctive accents for most of the islands there. Cool Cat saying Pascal, OG, Fred, Norman are fortunate to have longevity in the NBA, professionalism, work ethic, rewarded with money. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they're champions. They're champions. That's a good way. You're proven you got a ring. There's a lot of players in the league that don't have rings, and think they're all badass and doing this and that. Yeah, these guys aren't the same as the guys who actually put in the work, put their head down, and got the rings. Russell and James. Yeah, that's what I say to them right there. Yeah. Cowboys saying Chef Darko is going to be cooking this year. He's awesome for the Raptors. Maybe he could get Coach of the Year candidate. Well, he's not even anywhere near the preseason rankings or predictions of ESPN. He was not getting a single vote for a possible Coach of the Year this year. Not even on the radar. So, hey, maybe he can make some noise and do exactly what you're saying, and he could look real good. I would love that. Wayne saying Patrick Ewing is the most successful basketball player from Jamaica. However, I grew up with a few guys who played basketball in Europe for years. My point is athletic talent overall are Jamaicans. So he's saying that there's a lot of good athletes specifically in the island country of Jamaica. I mean, I won't disagree with that, but I mean, I don't know. There may be other, there's certain countries that do really good in different sports. We know Dominican is number 1 in baseball. Like they have crazy good baseball players coming from Dominican. And I got to think about other places. I mean, I think there's been a Cuban player before in the past. But yeah, in some ways, it's like I don't think the island countries have been very well represented. There's been a Haiti player, wasn't D'Alembert from Haiti? Samuel D'Alembert from way back. So there's been a couple of different players from island countries, but Masai's going there, and maybe he's going to open up the door. We'll have to see. Was Ewing actually born in Jamaica? I think he wasn't he? Let me go look at that. I remember him being Jamaican. It totally makes sense. But I'm trying to think, was he actually born in Jamaica? Yeah, he's born in Kingston, Jamaica. Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for bringing that up. All right, let's keep going in the chat. Cool Cat saying African continent are reconnecting with their lost African families in the Caribbean. So Masai's capitalizing on those initiatives. That's probably cool little subplot in what he's doing. I mean, obviously he's trying to do what he's been doing with Basketball Africa League and Giants of Africa and Basketball Without Borders. That may be part of this work is Basketball Without Borders, because I mean, it's got a basketball sense to it, but he always has like a social justice or political kind of side to it also, like whether it's giving more economic opportunity to places or putting like human rights on blast, like looking at like this is how they're treating women in this country and we need to stop this, or we need to stop child soldiers. I know we learned a lot about this when we were looking at Giants of Africa and all the different things that Masai is doing within his thing. So that may be very well true what Cool Cat's saying, that maybe there's an underlying initiative along with the expansion of access to basketball that has something to do with reconnecting the continent of Africa with those countries and their history. Yeah, that makes sense. And T20 cricket is popular in most Caribbean countries, not all Caribbean countries. Yeah, it's a good disclaimer. Stargate saying Canada has the highest cell phone rates on the planet. Yeah, why is that? It's because of Bell. And they're not being regulated. They're not being stopped by the government. The government should be stepping in and saying, y'all are robbing people blind, left and right. That's the thing. That's why I'm going to vote for politicians that are anti-allowing monopolies. And the people that are going to go in there and stop this kind of shit and get prices lower, that's who we should be voting for. because honestly, the redistribution of wealth in this continent right now in the US and Canada is disgusting. The rich are only getting richer. It's worse than ever. And whether it's because of tax plans for rich people that aren't paying fair tax share, whether it's the trickling up of all because of greedflation, because that's the right term, greedflation. They're greedy up there. There's no reason for these prices to be so high. They just want to get even more higher profits. And that's why in some ways, the system of capitalism isn't sustainable, because they have to have exponential growth every quarter. Well, there's nothing in the world that's like that. In fact, people have likened the idea of exponential growth through capitalism as cancer. That cancer is the same way in the body. It multiplies its cells and takes over and over. And what happens? What happens? You die. Well, in some ways, this is the same thing with this economic system that allows unregulated people at the top to set their prices so fucking crazy that they're just raking us over the coals, the everyday man in our everyday lives. So that's what I'm saying. We need to get politicians in there. They're going to say, Bell, you got to lower your damn prices because you ain't giving a service that's worth this. In some ways, that was part of the whole thing. Is like, it used to be in the marketplace, you get a product or a service and you get quality for it. You want to pay for the quality. Well, if you're paying the money and you ain't getting quality for it, then there's something wrong in the social contract of that. And yeah, that's a big mess up right there. It's what Stargate's saying right there. In fact, I'm going to be looking into different alternatives for my cell phone very soon. In fact, I'm thinking about getting rid of it. I don't know. I have a couple different options on the table because I'm sick of paying over $100 for a phone that doesn't even work. Seriously, I text people. It doesn't even ring when people are trying to call me. I'm like, why am I paying $100 to a company every month for a service that doesn't even fucking work, Bell? Seriously. Most saying now she's Elaine is a season ticket holder. I met her last season and we gladly talked about the book. Okay, so she isn't working anymore. She's just a fan who's a season ticket holder that comes to games. Well, okay, that's cool. Well, she had her time in her heyday of working for the Raptors. There you go. David's saying, well, at least we stopped in Kingston and I had time to roll one. There you go. So David pulled over and he got a chance to smoke a J outside in Kingston. He's in Kingston, Ontario, guys. That's funny. Here's Isaac Campbell. He's got the grow and the dinosaur and the tractor. I love it. You want me to go look at the Farmer's Almanac real quick? Since you put the tractor in there, that's kind of my cue. All right, let's see what they're saying on the last day of August 2024. Today is the best day to prune to discourage growth. So go out there and prune your prune tree. Prune your prunes. Prune your prunes. That's weird. Cool Cat saying multinational companies are price gouging because they have monopolized the entire global markets. Yeah, that's a big part of the problem. I'm serious. And that's why y'all, let's go independent. Let's subvert it. Let's go underneath it. Let's go face to face. Let's go to the small business. Let's help each other out on a lower level of the economics and shun the big companies that are anti-union and price gouging. That's what we need to do. And every single little decision you can make in this direction is good, whether it's going to farmer's market, whether it's going to that little small independent coffee shop, like I said, whether it's like if you don't believe in ExxonMobil and them giving money to Donald Trump to try and get him reelected, don't go to Esso. Make your choices with your money, and you can make a lot more power. And if we all collectively do it, it has a big impact. Trust me. It has a big, big impact. So even just little decisions here and there, you guys will make change. You could start with that first. So think close to you. Think what's not traveling from across the country. Think about what's being grown next to you. Think about where you can go for an independent person that does it, and they can help you out instead. Like when I was using internet, I wasn't using Rogers for the longest time. I was using Tech Savvy, because they were a good small company. So it's just a little different ways like that. You can do it. Cowboy saying, when you get to your seat, David and Peter play Ganja Bus, Damon Marley featuring Cypress Hill. I don't know if he's got a little thing he's going to play like music on or something like that. He's probably just listening to me through headphones. I don't even know if Peter's with him. It may be just David on his way out there. We don't know. Cool Cat saying, my fantasy team made the breakaway due to last night's game. I need you need Carter to return from injury. So Cool Cat's doing really good. She's had an up and down year, but she's really surging at the end of the season, which is fantastic. So yeah, Kareem, too bad for you. Kareem might be mute soon. I don't know why. Cool Cat saying, no, I'm not from Antigua. I'm from St. Kitts, Nevis. My accent is now a mixture with Canadian. I have no distinct accent anymore. All right, good information. Stargate saying, "Oh, my bad. Oh, you're Kittian. My bad. Sorry to accuse you of being a Garat." All right. Island talk here is good. David's got the island vibes going here with this fire. Okay, that's no good. Wayne saying, "Lexicon, Scotty Barnes, our MVP. One more reason to head to the Caribbean. Our backyard starting with Jamaica." This is actually a really good point by Wayne. All right, I'm gonna give Wayne a dunk. Scotty has Jamaican roots. So that once again, there's another good example of a guy who's really good at basketball that it's got Jamaican roots, like Patrick Ewing. 85 dunks for Wayne Strainer on that one. I gave you a 3-pointer. Yeah, I conveniently forgot about Scotty and his Jamaican side of his family, his dad's side. Yeah. That's really interesting. Cool Cat saying I use Kudu. Lex, give them a try. I might actually really seriously do that. I'll listen to you guys. Kudu. Isn't that what they say or something like that in the commercial? I'll look into that seriously because I need to make this change. I'll do it next month in September. Nins is here. Good to see Nins in the chat once again. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Nins. I hope you're having a great long weekend, great Saturday morning. We're sharing the love for John Bitove Jr., the man who brought the Raptors to Toronto, the man who set the tone by helping to design this logo for our team. Just a very crucial, important person that really set us off in the right direction, the ship sailing and going the right way because of him and his vision. And in some ways, I wonder if somebody else had done it, if it had been one of the other ownership groups, like the one Larry Tannenbaum was in originally, would we have been as successful? I don't know. It could very well be that they may have been a carbon copy of some of the other sports teams out there, and it just didn't take as well in being capturing the identity. Is one of the things that's talked about in the prehistoric book by Alex Wong is with all of the hindrances, whether it's the fights over the arena, playing in the Sky Dome, the Raptors did a good job of people falling in love with it. The in-game experience, despite playing in a big, huge, cavernous baseball stadium, was really good, and that they were totally successful in getting people hooked, partly, and they weren't even winning. This is the crazy thing. The building sucked. They weren't winning games, but people loved it and were into it, and it got really hip and cool anyway. And that's cool. That's cool. And some of it is because of our out-of-the-box thinking with our logo and our jerseys, and the feel of the team was so important because it was different. It was new. It was hip. Even if they weren't winning, it was hip. That's right there. Yeah. Let's see what else you guys are saying in the chat. Cowboy saying freedom is thumbs up. That's right. We want freedom economically so that we can get better prices. We want freedom politically so that we can continue to still vote and feel like we live in a free society. There are powers out there that want to close those things. People that pay way more money to these corporations in crazy ways, price gouging, and they will try and take away our voting rights more and more. One side is definitely not popular if you really think about it. So they have to do extra smear campaigns against people. They have to pay so much money. They get the corporations behind them, and they're paying so much money to smear people like Justin Trudeau and Kamala Harris because they know that they are going to come and tell them they got to pay their fair share. So that's part of it right there. You want freedom. You want freedom to spend your money on less on your phone bill. You want freedom to not be in a government that's run by corporations behind them. Well, that's what you got to look for right there. Yeah, you got to look right there. David's saying, "Oh, I went to Antigua. What a beautiful place. The home of Special Delivery Jones." That's the person I always think of from Antigua in the West Indies. Special Delivery Jones, old wrestler from WWF. Yeah. Then they started saying he was from Philadelphia, though. I was like, what? Wait, SG Jones is from Antigua. What is going on here? What is going on here right now? Yeah. Cool Cat saying, good, Lex. I was a tech savvy user too. I switched to Kudu due to better bundle with streaming services. Okay, so they do internet also along with the phone. Okay, well, I'm going to have to see what I do. I'm going to look into stuff and get this all figured out. Cowboy saying, for shits and giggles, Lex, who do you think scored the first basket for the Raptors in the regular season? Oh, that's Alvin Robertson. I know that. He shot a three. It's very clearly written out in this book, that way that they scored the first basket. Prehistoric by Alex Wong. Y'all go buy it. Basically, Ed Pickney did the jump ball because a couple of guys were hurt. Our normal centers were hurt, and they could not play. And he did the jump ball. So the first person to ever touch the ball in the Raptors history in a regular season game was Ed Pickney. He is the one of Villanova fame. And then he tipped the ball, and they got the ball over to Alvin Robertson, and he hit a corner three. And that was the first basket in Raptors history in regular season was Alvin Robertson for three. Our first shot was a three-pointer, guys. And he had also gotten an assault charge the night before in the hotel in Skydome. So the guy who scored the first points for the Raptors was actually under criminal investigation at that same time. Stargate saying Roy Hibbert is also of Jamaican background and Joel Anthony is Antiguan background. There you go. This is good information. Yeah, I remember Roy Hibbert. He did not stick in the league for very long. And Joel Anthony, of course, Canadian, who also played for Miami Heat. Yeah, David saying, when I was there was a volcano that erupted on some small island about 40 miles off the coast or something. It was hazy after that. So much ash and stuff. That's what that stuff will do. Volcanoes can change the environment very quickly. Yeah, it can make it a dark day. That's for sure. Yeah, Monique's got W Stream, W Vibes, Raptors for life. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Mo. She's got my cutoff, but I better go check and see what I got to do. I got Instagram stories to do real quick. Let's talk about them. We got Miles Burns working out on his Instagram. He's that's pretty cool. He's getting ready for the season. He's showing his Ole Miss highlights. Brendan Carlson's with this youngster, and it says Brendan Carlson beat Big Dave's career block shots a record at Utah. Maybe Little D can beat Brendan someday. So this is the son of a guy who I don't even know who D is. Big Dave. Who's Dave that played for Utah that he took the block shots from? I don't know. Either way, there's a kid. He looks pretty tall already for his age. Who knows? Maybe he will break Brendan Carlson's Utah block shots record. Lloyd has got a car on blast. It's a complex. And Hyundai built a Heritage Series Grandeur, an electric modernized version of their 1980s saloon car. That sounds crazy. Maybe Scott needs to get that, Lloyd. Maybe Scott needs to get that. Precious is back. He's got a clip of Deuce, Miles McBride, talking about how he's going to give a scholarship to somebody if they hit a shot or something. I don't know. He's celebrating one of his teammates. Norman Powell is still in Hawaii doing the grind, getting ready for Clippers training camp over there. And he's got some people wearing his grind gear 24/7, understand the grind. And also he's been the anchor man. He was in Honolulu, and he was actually on the local news on KITV, Channel 4 in Honolulu. And there he's also showing the beautiful water of Hawaii. So Norman's living his best life right now. Slim Duck is he's got some sort of he took himself, you know that thing where they had Thibodeau walk out on stage and he goes like this. It was like Chuck D kind of shit. Well, Slim Duck's got himself in it. He's like me pulling up to the family function knowing I'm the star of the family. Yeah, Chris, you probably are the star of the family in your family as far as being the NBA player and all that stuff. Emmanuel Quickly's in Miami, guys. That's where he is. He's showing off that he's been working at the Miami Pro Academy once again, just like a couple of the other Raptors were. Jakob was there the other day too. Let's see. Jonas Valanciunas putting on blast some concert that he was at. I don't know who that is. Is that Lady Gaga or something? It looks like Lady Gaga or something. I don't know. Valanciunas is at a concert. DeMar DeRozan's book's coming out real soon, guys. Chris Paul putting it on blast, Above the Noise by DeMar DeRozan. It'll be out September the 10th. So pre-order it and get on it. Yeah, Jay Nathan is into the booster juice. Mobo is back in Canada, I guess, because he's got a booster juice in his hand. Is booster juice in the States too? I know it's up here, so I'm going to guess that Jonathan's in Toronto because he's holding a booster juice. Let's see what else we got. There's Matt Devlin, as I said, going really showing condolences and showing Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau. Really, really sad what happened. As I said, Matt Devlin very affected by it. And then we got Wubbs. He's celebrating football once again on his thing. It's a guy who plays for Utah, Caleb Lohner, I guess, is Wubbs is celebrating there. And that's it, guys. That's the Instagram story. It's kind of light on the Instagram stories today. Not a whole lot. Nothing from the entourage and nothing from Gary Trent Sr. Very weird. Very weird. Normally it's every day there's something from him. Yeah. David's saying, let's do a poll for the first basket. No, I know the answer. I just answered it. It's Alvin Robertson. Alvin Robertson scored the first basket for the Raptors against the New Jersey Nets on the first game of the very first Raptors game ever. Yeah. Cowboys saying, I think Yak. Are you saying who's going to score the first basket this season? Nah, let's not do this. This is a silly thing to do. This is kind of borderline like all the degenerate sports gambling right now. I don't want to take bets on who's going to score the first basket for the Raptors this season. So you think Yak will do it? That may be right. I don't know. Stargate saying, I believe Anthony Bennett has a Nevis background, if I'm not mistaken. I have no idea. Most saying episode 2 to bring it home with the W drops next week, Lex. So they missed a week. I see that they're already like advertising the next Toronto WNBA show, and they have somebody different than Teresa Resch in the preview, but this is the same host. But yeah, I guess they couldn't make their weekly quota, and it's not going to come out till next week. Oh well. Now, one of the things I'll say about the WNBA stuff is they've closed the submission portal and they've got all the information from the fans at this point. So they're going over what they're going to decide. And I thought the deadline was this month, but it's not. The deadline is actually in November, I believe. So they got to figure out. They're probably fine tuning the ideas and who they think, what they think the name's going to be, the colors and the jersey over the next 2 months. And they got to get that all done. But they're not really asking for any help from the people other than the graphic designers. All the name submissions and all that stuff is closed. So they've got all the information they want from the fans for that. Yeah. David saying, awesome, Mo. Thanks for the info. The Graphote. And nah, dude, this upcoming season. That's guy you guys are talking about. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I don't care. In some ways, I just want the Raptors to win. None of that shit actually matters. It's just who wins. We want to win. That's all. David saying, y'all should know that history from trivia anyway. Yep. Cowboys saying later, Lex and Raptor Freaks. David, I think the snowbirds just passed by your place. I'm working downtown again. Okay. Yeah, I guess migration's going to be changing for the birds. Let's keep it warm up here so they don't have to leave so soon. In some ways, I like it staying warm. It's been nice this summer. It's been a good summer with weather. Lots of rain, not too incredibly hot. I'll say that. Stargate saying, David, that island was Montserrat, the one that had the volcano that went crazy. David saying, wow, that's incredible. You know this. Thanks, Stargate. And David saying, I don't remember the year. I was young, probably mid 90s, was with my mom and my uncle. Yeah, Cowboy. Another reason I went to Ottawa this weekend. Oh, because of the air show. Yeah, the air show's kind of messed up. I mean, if you go and look in the community tab on my channel, I covered the air show 5 years ago on the Kensington Variety VIP Club show. And I'm asking customers in the store, what do you think of the air show? And some of them are like, I like it. I go and watch it. Some people are like, I do not like it. I'm kind of leaning towards not liking it at this point. It's kind of antiquated. In some ways, there's an article out this morning talking about how we should probably get rid of it in some ways, because honestly, there's a couple of different reasons why. First of all, it scares the hell out of pets. It scares the hell out of animals. It really does. And also, the carbon footprint of the air show is ridiculous. In some ways, it's like, what are we doing here? In some ways, it's a show of like the military industrial complex. And in some ways, it's gross. And like, we don't need to see this shit. Like, we don't need you to parade this shit out there. Some people say the counter argument as well. We want people to get involved in aeronautics and flights and flying. And, we can start dreams and little kids from doing it. Yeah. But also there's little kids that come to this country from war-torn countries where these very same equipment is used to bomb the hell out of them. In some ways, it's gross to put on advertisement machines that destroy lives all over the place around the world. And in some ways, that's where I stand on it. It's like the air show. People be like, "Oh, I hate Lex for hating the air show." Well, that's fine. In some ways, I just don't like it anymore. I feel like it. In some ways, think about this: there's refugees and people that come from all around the world, and they may hear those noises this weekend, and they get a little bit of PTSD because of the war situation, the very real situation that they were in. And do you really want to shake people like that and make people feel sad like that? No, it's not right. In some ways, we're supposed to be a safe, happy place here that's welcoming and stuff like that. And the air show is not that for people that come from war-torn places where jets actually flew over them and dropped bombs. So, in some ways it's antiquated, it's stupid. In some ways we have environmental problems. Why the fuck are we burning all this energy in just dumb ways just for people to see little loop-the-loops? Plus it annoys the hell out of people downtown because it's noisy as fuck. And people downtown are like, yeah, the air show, great. We see it every year. It's annoying. This weekend's really annoying. So I get it. That's part of why David went to Ottawa, is because he doesn't want to hear all that shit. Yeah. Let's see. So loud in Liberty Village. Yeah, very, very loud down by the lake, for sure. I'm so far north, I won't hear this shit today. Yeah, have fun with the family. Cowboy saying, dap, dap. Yeah. All right, let me see. Let me check all my tabs. Guys, they have really interesting tops cards out for the G League. You guys can get McCurr basketball cards. And maybe, Amit, you need to do this. Get the tops G League card set. You can buy them, and you may get Omari Moore or something like that. So definitely check out the 905 basketball cards by G League Tops. They're out, and you can buy them now. Let's see. There's no birthdays today, guys. No birthday today. And I guess that's it. So today we're celebrating John Bitove Jr., the originally owner of the Raptors, the guy who brought our team to our city. We have to thank him. There's no Raptors. There's no Raptor Freak Channel. There's no championship. There's no Scotty Barnes, Vince Carter, any of that without John Bitove. And I really appreciate him for that. In some ways, it's like a one and done kind of thing, like Kawhi. He's 1 year with the Raptors at the top, and then they pushed him out after that. Steve Stavro and the MLSE. It's too bad. It is what it is. I hope you learned something today about the early history of the Raptors and how we got the Air Canada Center and just how much of a power struggle and a kerfuffle of confusion and bullshit and politics and fighting and arguing about this and that. And they had to work it out when they came together, but we had to come together where the Raptors were bought and owned by the Leafs. That was the compromise. And in some ways, they probably thought, well, now that they're inside the company, we can hurt them from the inside from being successful. Well, that was until Masai showed up. That's right. That's right. There you go. Stargate saying, as an avid av geek myself, I like air shows. However, I'm not a fan of military aircraft. I'm more into passenger aircraft. It's interesting. Like, I don't want to stymie this, and I understand why they do this to make people dream of joining the industry or being involved or becoming a pilot. But there's ways to do this. In some ways, maybe they shouldn't do it downtown where there's so many people already down there. Maybe they need to move it to another city in the GTA a little bit further away from the main populace of Toronto right downtown. Maybe there's a compromise. Maybe we're more focused on vintage planes that don't have such a huge carbon footprint. Maybe we see more biplanes and they're doing a little bit more loop-de-loops and stuff like that, and not so much the sonic boom of a crazy stealth bomber or something like that. The shit that's actually destroying cities and buildings and lives and other places around the world. In some ways, we can be really superficial about this and say, oh, no, they're planes flying in the air and stuff like that. But do you realize the real world implications of what these machines are used to do is what I would say. And, glorifying that is not, there's no glory in war. No, let's just put it that way. There's no glory in war. There never is. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe there's a compromise. Maybe there's a way to put on an aviation show that isn't such a grandiose spectacle of like raw military power as this. In some ways, it's gross. It's very, very gross. Yeah, David's saying, thanks, John. You're the man. He's saying thank you to John Bitove Jr. That's right. And we appreciate you, and we hope you show up to the game so you can get your standing ovation from Raptors fans, being the catalyst and the person that was in the driver's seat, helping direct the team in the right way right from the beginning, a brash young man who made a lot of good things happen. And that's awesome. We love you, John Bitove Jr. That's right. All right, guys. Thanks for watching me today. Thanks for subscribing. Lots of new subscriptions in recent days. I appreciate it. If you're sharing me somewhere else, thank you. You can continue to do that. Like, comment, join the channel if you want. There's some fun things. If you join the channel, you get to join our private Facebook group and our Facebook chat where we talk to the minute of what's going on around the league. And we get that out there very quickly. Trust me. Trevor J is right there on it almost always. Yeah. Stargate saying those are lovely instruments of death in the Ace Ventura voice. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in some ways it's kind of gross. It's kind of gross. Yeah, David's saying, haha, sneak a dunk in there. All right, we'll give a dunk to Stargate for being balanced on this. It's like, listen, I think it's important to have interest in like different industries, but still, there's a time and a place, and maybe not right downtown next to the downtown core. In some ways, like I said, it scares the hell out of the wildlife and your own pets. And there are people that own dogs down near the lakeshore, and they absolutely hate this weekend, because their dogs are just freaked out and completely not doing well. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. I'll be back tomorrow for a Sunday special report when I talk about something that's going on. It's kind of like a news magazine stream, kind of like 60 minutes. I'll have some sort of interesting newsworthy story about what's going on with the Raptors, the NBA, and we'll see what it is tomorrow. I'll be back at 9:30 a.m. Thanks for watching, and y'all get out there, touch grass, Raptorize your day on a long weekend, and remember, don't drink and drive. Have a plan, and maybe you have a designated driver. Maybe you're just going to stay where you're going to be and you don't have to worry about it. Just have a plan and don't deviate from it. And in some ways, you got to have a plan for a plan in case of this and this and this happens. So really think out things and be mindful of your alcohol consumption and maybe not losing control. And that would be the best right there. Yeah, yeah. Isaac got me on blast now with the peace and the dinosaur. I love it. All right, let's go. Isaac Campbell holding it down, the benevolent one. Yeah.